Today I'm diving into part 2 of busting Ark Raiders' biggest myths, but before that I'm going to talk briefly about some recent developer updates from Embark Studios. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, just know that I'm a member of Embark Studios Creator Program, so I've tagged this video as a promotion to keep that relationship nice and transparent. Also, for my regular viewers, thank you for your patience waiting for a new video from me. Over the last couple of weeks or so, I've had my fair share of PC issues, which have held that up. And to cut a long story short, I ended up updating my GPU from a 3080 Ti to a 5080, upgrading my RAM and fully reinstalling Windows amongst other things to resolve the issues. In the end, I guess the required GPU upgrade is not bad timing considering Ark Raiders is launching in less than 2 months. I absolutely cannot wait to see how the game looks with that GPU on board. Speaking of updates, you might well have seen a couple of new blog posts from Embark Studios on the Ark Raiders Discord. The first lets us know that at launch, a Raider Den will be included in the game. Aside from being our Raiders' place to catch some shut-eye, Embark's Dusty Gustafsson describes it by writing, "Your Raider Den screen will be a living representation of your progress. Your highest value items will be proudly displayed on your shelves, even if the most valuable thing you own at the moment is 15 rubber ducks. Think of the den as a bird's nest for all your trinkets, old world oddities, guns and fancy weapon attachments. We plan to continue refining the den. We'll also try to get some of those mystery stains off the walls before you get there." I really like the idea of the den being constantly updated as we find new high-value trinkets topside and upgrading our weapons. It provides another direct connection between the out-of-round UI and gameplay, so I think it's a really neat addition. The Raider Den post arrived sooner than the previous monthly cadence between blog posts, and that seemingly did mark a change in how often we'll see dev posts like this, with another one a week later that provided us 4 concept art images. That also coincided with the opening of an official art channel in the Discord for those images. At least 3 of the images were created by the world art director for the game, Tahir Tanis, who says in posts he made on X that he joined Embark early on in May 2019, and that this image of the towers was the first one he ever created for the game. So it's likely most of these images are a look back at the historical road to launch for the game, rather than something we have to look forward to. That's pretty much confirmed by Dusty's post alongside the images where she writes, "In the channel, we'll post things from every stage of Ark's development, from the earliest days before we had a name, through all the iterations, up until now and toward the future. This is the story of the art and the team, and these are the images that inspired the devs to build the world that is now Ark Raiders." So it's anyone's call what the next step in Embark's marketing for the game will be, but I'd hazard a guess that if we see another one of these, what you might call breadcrumb style posts, in the next week or so, then we might expect several weeks of these posts before we get delivered something more juicy. Hey, Editing Rockhound, just jumping in here quickly to say that we did get another official art post with a couple more images earlier today, and so it does look like we are going to receive those breadcrumb style updates for the time being. I reckon the shortest full marketing campaign we could expect leading up to the October 30 launch could see that kick off in the first week of October or thereabouts, giving Embark about 3 weeks or so to ramp up hype for the game. But I guess we'd all like to see that get underway sooner, am I right? If they want to leave it super late, TwitchCon San Diego kicks off on October 17, so we may see them there as well. Whenever and however Embark decides to ramp up their marketing for Ark Raiders, it's going to be an interesting and noisy couple of months in the gaming market, especially with Battlefield 6 launching on October 10. Okay, time to bust some Ark Raiders myths and rumours. In the previous episode, I debunked 4 myths, or maybe you might just call them Ark Raiders rumours, same but different. Those were that the game will have 12 maps at launch, that it was originally a PvE only game, and was also previously a looter shooter, and that the game will have mandatory gear wipes. With those 4 done and dusted, let's move on to some lesser known myths or rumours, as well as dropping a bunch of facts about Ark Raiders that maybe you just haven't heard of. And like the first part in this series, a lot of the info for this video came directly from the game's design director, Virgil, during a session where he played with Clean and Hutch for a few hours, and some from watching Shroud streams from the playtest. I've put links to all their Twitch accounts in the video description if you want to check them out, although Clean's Ark Raiders stream has since expired on Twitch. Let's kick things off with what is a common request from the community. Myth number 5. A first-person version of Ark Raiders would be easy for Embark to add to the game. This is a subject that's been floating around for a while, and it's kind of an understandable request from players who prefer to play first-person shooters that they'd want to see Embark create a first-person version of Ark Raiders. Unfortunately for those people, for the foreseeable future, Ark Raiders will not see a first-person mode added. And that's because it's simply not a case of moving the camera from behind the player's character to their head, as the uninitiated might imagine. Virgil, the game's design director, explained this when he played with Clean, and was asked this by Clean's teammate, Hutch, saying,
So, this is more for my chat. They want to know if there's been an idea floated about ever having a first person as well.
No, not currently.
Got it.
Everything about the world, the game is built around third person.
Yep.
There, you end up in huge affordances for like the dimensions of rooms, sight lines, things like that. It really changes a lot more than I think people anticipate. And if we were building from the start with that in mind, of course, like we could accommodate it. But flipping the switch this far along is essentially
It's just not worth it.
I mean, you got to change asset fidelity and where interactions are, and it's just a lot. It cascades throughout the entire project. Like, these assets look great in this composition from this far away, but when you push your face up against them, it's not going to hold up the same way a first-person game would.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And plus, I can only imagine like dodge rolling and all the movement mechanics in first person being incredibly jarring. And yeah, I mean, if anything, I would
imagine in first person you're just diving around.
Yeah, you get motion sickness and you'd like want to vault. I mean, granted, you could just like not rotate the camera with the actor like when you do the dodge, but you know, obviously that's probably not something they'd want to do in the first place.
Our character controller, the input, like everything is built for this, so it's not just change the camera position and you're good to go. It's everything.
So I wouldn't be holding out for a first-person version of Ark Raiders anytime soon, probably ever. Let's move on to something we know less about, but one I can still shine a little light on. Myth number 6. There are exactly X number of players per round. This one doesn't fit an exact myth because there have been numerous guesses floating around, and of course some guesses are going to be right, but a common number I've seen suggested is 18 players per round. And we can actually rule that out again thanks to Virgil joining Clean Stream.
What's the max players per match?
That I won't tell you.
Oh, okay. I like that you're keeping it a secret.
Mystery.
That's fair. My guess would probably be...
I love these guesses. They're so all over the place. It's wild.
Well, first of all, I think it's map dependent.
What's the question? Let me think of an educated guess.
Max players per match. They can be in one session before it'll spawn like a new team in.
Yep, I got it. Go ahead.
My guess, again, map dependent. I would say for this map, I would say 18 players would be like the.
I'm going one
cap.
under. I'm doing 15.
15.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm just kind of going off variables of 3.
Again,
all I could say is you're both wrong, but I won't entertain further guesses as to the player count.
Okay, fine.
Given that we can now rule out 18 or 15 players per round, I would guess that it's either 12 or 21, so 4 teams or 7 teams, and I'm probably leaning towards 12 because some rounds you see very few players, but let me know in the comments how many players you think are in a round at any one time. Interestingly, this conversation between Virgil, Clean and Hutch moved on to a related myth. Myth number 7. There are bot raiders in the game. I've seen on Reddit that some players thought there were bot raiders in the game, but Virgil quickly dispelled this.
It's 12, isn't it?
It's actually 3. We're alone. None of it's real.
These are bots? What? All these guys are AI? I can't believe
Actually,
it.
that is one thing we had to clarify. I think people heard the like the emotes like that and thought they were AI, but there are no AI raiders.
So there are no bot raiders in the game. Let's move on to something map related rather than player related. Myth number 8. The maps didn't change much when the game changed genres. For me, this is probably the one thing about the change in genre for the game that I really would have loved to have seen remain unchanged. But originally, the game was set in a fully open world. Maybe not on the scale of DayZ, which would have been crazy amazing, but we can see from this early concept art the kind of huge open landscapes that were planned. This whole area we see here, which now contains at least 3 maps for the game, was a single map in the original. And again, this was confirmed by Virgil.
Like this actually used to be one giant open world interconnected, but once we pivoted the density we needed in the maps to make them like properly interactive, have loot and all that stuff, it couldn't handle it. So
Yeah, I get that.
So the change was forced by the need for looting, because loot requires added levels of detail, especially inside buildings, so that everything looks really nice for us while we're scrounging around searching for that dog collar for Scrappy. And that level of detail, which makes the game feel very realistic, takes its toll on the server. So the devs split up the large map into 3, as of Tech Test 2, with expansive non-gameplay spaces between the smaller maps. The game simply wouldn't have run well with the level of detail it offers while remaining a super large map. Myth number 9. Movement in Arc Raiders is client-side, unlike the Finals, where it's server-side. Embark Studios' first game to release, the Finals, has some very innovative things about it, not least of which is server-side movement. It's that server-side movement that allows you to stand on the wall of a building as it falls to the ground. Now, it would be easy to assume that there's no real need for Arc Raiders to have server-side movement in the same style, but as you hear from Virgil, it does, and that allows crazy plays like jumping onto the Arc machines and riding them like a hoverboard.
Have you seen the clips of people riding the drones?
yes.
Do you love that, or is it one of those where you look? Okay. Awesome.
No. I mean, it's like we do server-side movement and all that stuff for a reason. I know it's not perfect, but allowing for it is
Myth number 10. Once you're knocked out in a round, you can't come back into it. This myth is pretty straightforward, the idea being that once you get knocked out of a round, there's no way to go back in and recover any of your gear. But this was busted by Shroud when his squad got knocked out early on in a round during day 2 of Tech Test 2, and they immediately queued back up, found a round, spawned back in, and then stumble across their own bodies, albeit mostly looted.
Try to find their key. Oh, this is the same place we died. Crazy.
I don't even want to use my
Wait,
flashlight.
we're late raid. Is this the same? This is the same raid. This is the same raid. This is the same raid. We're in the same raid. We're in this. This is my body right here. They looted my shit.
They loot me? Hello. Wait, you think that they're at the bastion? Right
I think we chase. I think that might be the guys. We're in the literal same raid.
In Tech Test 2 at least, you could play in the same round twice. It'll be interesting to see if that's still the case at launch. So how late can you jump back into a round to do this? Well, that takes us to our next myth. Myth number 11. You can join a round over halfway through. So this myth is an easy one to correct. The latest you can spawn into a round is with 18 minutes remaining. And this again comes straight from Virgil.
And you guys have managed to do that so well while even keeping a raid timer in still. Because you can spawn in anywhere, I think, from 30 minutes at the start to 12 minutes at the latest. The 12 minutes is like the latest I've seen somebody spawn in.
18 should be the lowest. I mean,
Is
it's
it?
possible there's a bug, but 18 should be the absolute latest you can ever spawn in.
Okay, that's cool.
And Virgil added to that later in the session.
You said 18 minutes in is the latest you can spawn in?
Could be, yeah.
Okay. Why 18 minutes specifically?
Kind of the ratio that seemed to work for being able to like do most of what you wanted to do while still keeping the server like populated, sort of thing.
Yep.
I agree that 18 minutes is about right for the last players arriving into the round. You can still do a lot in that time, but I guess it also means maybe it's a good idea, as you join matchmaking, to have an A plan in mind for a full 30-minute round and a B plan for a shorter round, because with 18 minutes remaining, you might abandon a traverse across the entire map if that's where your A plan was taking you. Okay, let's move on to things that are more just interesting facts about Arc Raiders that you might not be aware of, rather than myths or rumours as such. The game's original movement speed was next level. If you recall watching the original trailer for Arc Raiders, which by the way has sensibly been taken off YouTube by Embark, you might realise that the player movement appeared considerably faster than it is in the current game. And it wasn't just slightly faster. According to Virgil, it was around 4 times faster, which is just mad to think about now. That speed of movement would be insane to play in the current game. Scrappy's origin story. Our beloved Scrappy. The rooster that gives your crafting supplies a booster, the chicken that keeps picking up loot, the fowl that's your one true pal. According to design director Virgil during a session with Clean, Scrappy's origin wasn't something that was a highly planned part of the game. Let's listen to what he says about our feathered kleptomaniac friend.
I got a question. What made you guys roll with a chicken?
For
the workshop.
The cock. Dude, it's got to be an inside joke.
The cock, yes.
Yeah. Okay, we wanted a mechanic to like if you having like a fail cycle or just like low on stuff, we wanted a mechanic to like drip feed you basic materials. Just as like a sort of safety net, so you have like a bare minimum quality of life to play. And at first it was just gonna be like a delivery box or like a machine that spat out materials. We thought that was boring. And I truthfully don't remember who had brought it up anymore, but at first we were like, oh, maybe it should be like a cat or something, like cute and charming. And that was fine, but we're like, oh, we don't really have time to make that. So the sole reason Scrappy exists as a chicken is because it was the only rigged animal mesh we had in the entire game. So we used that.
You know, what's funny too is roosters and chickens are actually known to correct shiny metal objects. So it kind of makes sense. It really does.
So Scrappy wasn't just the chosen one, he was chosen because he was the only one. What's the official name for a round or raid? Speaking of choosing one, as of Tech Test 2, Embark haven't actually settled on a name for a round or raid, but Virgil said they refer to it as doing a run topside. Why do Arc machines not kill you when you're downed? Did you notice during Tech Test 2 that if you're downed, the Arc machines will stop shooting at you? Now you might have thought that there's some law reason for this, like the machines assessing that you are no longer a meaningful threat. But according to Virgil, there's actually no law reason for them doing this, and it's simply because during playtests when they did do it, it was way too brutal to be shot at once you were down. So the devs just decided to not have it happen. It seems fair, but personally, I think they should have just made up a law reason for it, because we would have totally believed it. There is a law reason why there's a 30-minute round. If you've hung around in the round until there's just a couple of minutes remaining, you probably noticed missiles coming in that make a massive explosion. This relates to a law reason for the 30-minute round ending. In orbit above Earth are arc orbiters, and the 30-minute round represents a period, an arc orbiter window, when they're not present. Now that should also mean from a physics point of view that there are actually multiple arc orbiters, as a single satellite can't orbit Earth under gravity alone faster than around 90 minutes. There are no one-shot PvP weapons in-game. Towards the end of the session where Virgil played with Clean asked if there are any weapons in the game that can one-shot a player, and this is what Virgil said.
So I'd assume this is a no, but there's nothing in, or yes, I mean, there's nothing in the game that can deliberately one-shot a player with a full shield and full HP.
No, not currently. So if you're, well, okay, if you have no shield at all and you're full health, yes, there's a couple things that could. But if you have a light shield and full HP, no, there's nothing that will instant kill you.
That's good.
So provided you have the minimum of a light shield and full HP, you shouldn't get one shot, unless of course, maybe 2 players hit you at once. Embark cheated with the weapon animations. If you played Tech Test 2, you would have enjoyed the ability to aim left or right-handed and flip back and forwards between the stances at will. What you might not have noticed is that when you switch from one side to the other, the weapon simply gets mirrored, rather than Embark having to make a second version of every weapon.
Yeah. My gun swaps sides too!
Yeah.
Wait, how the fuck did Hutch get in there?
You actually you always at all times carry a perfect mirror left-hand version of your gun.
Yeah,
you just got it.
Yeah, you just got it back up. Because, I mean, to be honest, though, like, having to design every gun like that and add animations for that would be so much fucking work.
Yeah, it did. I mean, of course, it's like a fantastic quality up if you could do it, but literally animating every action twice for left and right hand is just
would be a lot.
a bit much. And we have like 3 amazingly talented people working on it, but still.
Yeah, you'd rather them actually just, like, focus on other things. That makes perfect sense.
Given how good the game was looking at Tech Test 2, and that they only have a core group of around 60 developers who have been working on the game most of the time, plus a few extras that cover both Arc Raiders and the finals, I think we can allow them this shortcut that reminds us all that from a size perspective, Embark Studios is definitely a AA studio. And on that bombshell, thanks for watching the video to the end. A big thank you to the members of my channel for their ongoing support, especially my Black Tier members TJ and Thoronike17, and of course to Embark Studios for having me as a member of their content creator program. Both are greatly appreciated. Do the usual YouTube business if you want to see more videos from me from now on. Give a like or comment as you see fit, and enjoy the rest of your day. Kia kaha. Stay strong.
Everybody knows the world ain't right. Down on your knees, get up and fight.